weongoza nikufuate, unachotaka sema nikupe, kwa mapenzi na huduma na furaha ya kipekee. Usiogope, tutafika, amini nitakulinda, wewe na mimi tutafika, amini tutafika, pamoja tutawasili.
Wow. Wow, that's one of my favorite songs. Like by Jonny Isaya. Guys, welcome back to our podcast. This is the Pivot Point podcast, and today I'm joined by one of my friends who is just more like a brother to me, called Jonny Isaya. And as you heard, some strings and good voice there. We're going to be learning more from him. And as I told you guys in our previous 2 episodes, that this is a podcast where we talk about transformation, growth, change, and help each other to navigate through those seasons. So welcome back. Thank you for joining us. I'm Shekina Kigame, and I'm so happy that you're here.
Welcome to the Pivot Point podcast, a place where you can find inspiration for transformation.
So thank you for taking the time to come on this podcast.
Thank you for inviting me.
I'm happy that you're here. And that song Wasili is my favorite. I think that's of your Naliaka EP.
Yes, it is.
Guys can check it out on YouTube. It's out. Spotify.
Yes.
Streaming platforms.
All.
Yes. Okay. So Jonny, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you?
Alright, I always introduce myself as my name is Jonny Isaya. I sing for food, and yeah, I'm a full-time musician. I am born again believer. I am a brother, yet to be a husband. Nangoja sana. I am a son. You know, I'm just a guy.
A chill guy.
Just a chill guy who sings.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So we said, I asked you this some time back, like why do you say you sing for food?
Oh yeah. So I sing for food. It has many meanings. Juu unajua wasanii tunakwanga deep. But the most basic meaning is when I finished campus and my parents asked me, now what? Because I studied music against their will a bit. You know, I had to make my mind understand that now music is everything. Yeah, inafaa kunilisha, inafaa kunisatisfy, yani inafaa kuni, and plus it basically feeds my soul, it feeds my body, it feeds my spirit, it feeds me.
It's your food.
Basically, it's my food.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember there's a time we were talking about how the different career paths people take in music.
Yeah.
And you asked me, so are you planning to do music like full-time performance? I said, I'm not sure. Because I'm a jack of all trades, I do all things.
Yeah.
But for you said, it's music and it's music. There's nothing else. That's what I'm pursuing.
Exactly.
So here we are several years later. How has that been going for you?
It's been, I can say it's a journey, and I like, now me, I wouldn't say Wasili is my favorite song. It's one of my best songs, but I wouldn't say it's my favorite song, but it's one of those songs that reminds me, one of my songs that reminds me of the way I perceive life. Life is a journey, right? And that's why I also, even though pianely perceive music, it's a journey. It's, if you think about the destination, you might lose out on the beauty of the journey, you know. So there've been ups, there've been downs, there've been challenges, zile zenye unafika hapo kwa like, kesho itafika kweli. Will I still be here? Will I still be doing this, you know? But yeah, it's been a journey, and it has been, I would say it has been a beautiful journey, you know. I would say something I learned, you probably start with the destination. You start with, because that's what I started with. I decided I'm doing music. So it's weird because, okay, when you think about it, it's like now I'm walking backwards.
Yeah.
Right? I'm now walking backwards, now understanding, okay, this, okay, you know.
Yeah. So you're figuring it out. But you have your vision, you know where you're going.
Because I told myself, and I was very intentional about it. I told myself, it's going to be music. Whether I'm teaching, whether I'm brokering deals to sell instruments, whether I'm writing, whether I'm earning from, production, recording, blah, blah. It's music. It's music.
So, how was that like? You've mentioned your parents, and you studying music maybe was not something they were happy about.
Yeah.
How did that go?
Well, honestly, they didn't give me a blessing because I did well in high school, and I had other choices that I would have made, which I'm sure they would be okay with, right? But yeah, I told them at the end of the day, I would want to do something that just makes me happy. Yeah, and I know I have the mind to do my engineering, my medicine, my nini, but I don't think that would make me happy.
Yeah.
And I really am very deep like that, because even when we talk about the spiritual aspect of music, I would say music might it's debatable, but it provides more healing than, like, I would heal someone more with music than I would with medicine. You get me? Yeah. Yeah, that's the way I think about it.
Music is healing.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people don't listen to music.
I don't know anyone who does not like music, or inaweza kwa genre yote. Kuna wale watu wanasikizanga masongs zenye ukisikia like ini ala what are these? But yeah,
but inampea life.
Yeah, and even like when you look at the Bible, music is one of those few things that exist both in the physical and spiritual realm, and has like an impact, Yeah.
Oh wow. So many people like are growing up now, their parents are against them pursuing that. What would you say to them? Because they don't know how to go about it. You want to respect your parents.
Yeah.
They have the desires that they have for you, but you also have what you want.
Yeah.
So how do you navigate that?
Well, first I would say understand that your parents just love you, and sometimes love manifests itself in fear, like in a kujaka fear, and don't hold it against them too much. Yeah. And then now when you decide to do what you want, now if you decide to pursue what you're pursuing, you have to be very serious about it. Take all criticism. Because I remember one of the conversations I had with my father just after our campus, someone called me for an open mic gig in Nairobi, because we live in Eldoret, Soi. And my dad asked, is that gig in Alipa? I was like, no, it's an open mic. I'm just trying my luck. I was like, okay, so let's assume I give you money to go. And I was like, I'm generous. Pia nikupe pesa ya kurudi. So you get there, you get to fika Nairobi. How are you going to move from the stage to the venue? Then I'm assuming you'll be hungry. Will they provide food? Okay. Then now, if they play the gig, then now I'm assuming you'll sleep in Nairobi. Do you have like money for accommodation? Then now, okay, if you don't, maybe let's say you travel back, how will you move from the venue to the stage? And alinifungwa akili, because of course nilijam, nikasirika, hauna nikazia, as all, utaki nilive dream yangu. But I thought about it, and since then I learned that in the business of music you have to consider logistics first, before salary, before exposure, hizo vitu zote. Kwanza logistics, maliza logistics, alafu sasa profit, And so it's a piece of criticism that hata labda yake niambia hakuwa anataka kunifunza hiyo lesson ya logistics. But yeah, I just understood that I come from love, so let me take the best I can get from what he's telling me. And yeah, so it's quite resistant sana. Consider what they're saying, understand that it's coming from love, and then just be sure of what you're doing. Not sure in terms of what a pesa ama profitability. Just be sure this is something that will fulfill you, because you know when we die, we're not going to go with all these things that we're working so hard to get, you know. Yeah, so just be sure that it will fulfill you, itakufanya ukwe okay.
Yeah.
Then with the day.
Go with what you're passionate about.
Yes.
I think God has placed something in everybody.
True.
Yeah. Some don't know what it is, so you discover it along the way. Like you said, life is a journey.
Yeah.
And others, if you know what you want, you should go for it.
Yeah.
And so this would also help those who have children who are interested in such lines, artistic, creative pursuits, to know that your children can actually pursue something other than medicine, law.
Yeah, because I know the fear for parents usually is, I'm assuming, I'm not a parent yet, Mungu anibariki. But najua the fear ni, if I'm not here, how will this child survive? You know. So give them a chance. And you know, the world has grown. Like, hey, so you can make money out of just anything. You know, you can make a living out of the strangest things ata yenye hata wewe expect. So I would say it would be better if your child earns a living with something they're passionate about, because one, you're sure that this is something they'll do probably for the rest of their lives. So that means they learn for the rest of their lives. So just maybe help them or guide them or give them perspective. Mwambie tu, you know, fanya hivi instead of hivi. Because my parents, when they started opening up to the idea of me being a musician, now they were like, be a teacher. You know, now because I proved to them that this is not something that's going to die anytime soon. So now I can't kunipea perspective, try teaching, try this, you know. Yeah.
And they're also learning.
Yeah.
So you give them some grace to do them.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'd like us to know we delve a little bit into your journey musically now, because I know in anything, apart from music, even in medicine, in whatever you're doing, the price of entry is embarrassment. You have to start somewhere. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about where you started, so that somebody who is also interested in music can know a little bit more about the journey.
All right. So my interest in music began when I joined high school, which is just a story in itself, because when I joined high school, I was a very wicked child when I was in primary school. So when I joined high school, I wanted to be different. And that's when I met God. I got born again just before high school. And I told myself, okay, I don't want distractions, story to girlfriends, nini, tunawestiana time, yani, kisema tu kweli, you know. So I was like, okay, I want to find something that I want to just obsess over. And then now I was fortunate enough to join a high school where they had a proper music program, instruments book academy. I don't know if it's still there, but yeah. And I remember walking into the music room, because it was set up like a mini auditorium, like it was really well, you know. And then now, first time I'm seeing like a saxophone, violin, a grand piano, and I was like, wow. You know. Then now I started hearing the sounds, because of course walikuwa natuletea the senior students play for you something, and I was like, oh my God, I love the reverb. The room was so well, yani. I was like, okay, this is it. I've decided.
That's it.
But now throughout high school I was very technical with music, because I've always had a scientific mind. So I was always mathematical. I was like, after the melody writing thing, I never like had the melody like what to third, fifth, step, you know. I was very mathematical in high school. It helped me a bit, because inside I learned the theory of music and all that. And then I used to arrange pieces for my fellow students who are more gifted, more talented. Because again, when I teach music, I tell my students, no one is born with a gift of music. It's just how early you're exposed to it. So the people who started singing wakiwa primary, wakiwa class 1, class 2, definitely wakifika high school they have a mature voice, you know. But sisi wenye we are just doing other things, tukifika high school we can't have the same level of talent. So hao ndo nilikuwa na andikia pieces, I arrange for them, I train them, because now they can't read music. They go, they want African nationals. I'm like, yes, I like now that was fulfillment for me. And then now when I joined campus, because now I studied music in campus. Again, I walked into Moi University main campus. They had a band room, and the instruments and the musicians who were there were trained by Jamnazi band, so they had an idea of contemporary band music, and I was blown away. Okay, at first of course nilikuwa zile za umse anaimba fiti na mademo and I'm like but then I was like, but then nikakuwa like, I realized there's something I don't know. There's something I know about music, but there's something I don't know. So now I started teaching myself how to sing, how to play guitar, how to play piano, how to perform. Kaanza kujifunzia hapa how to write songs, how to kajifunza tu pole. And what I learned is, if you really want anything, just work for it. It's quite basic, like God told Adam, ukitaka kukula lima. Utalia, you'll sweat, but at least you'll get, it'll give you the returns. So I started teaching myself all that. First time I tried to sing, by that band room, I was told, no.
For real?
Tumesikia ukirap. Ebu baki tu kwa rap. For real, it was very embarrassing. It was very, but now me again, I took it like a challenge. I was like, okay. And I tried approaching people to teach me, but they either didn't have the time or they're just not interested, So I was like, okay, let me teach myself. And I was never afraid of being embarrassed and till date, and that's what I teach my students as well. Like, your fear, embarrassment does more harm than the actual voice. Because when you start singing or performing or playing music, you learn that it's more mental than it is skill. Right? You can have the worst voice, but confidence now trust me, people will be happy with your performance. And at the same time, you can have the best voice, but hauna confidence, And practice. I just practice. Now
worked on your craft.
Just work on your craft. And also like have the people you look up to, like because me, I look up to musicians who have achieved milestones. Someone like Ed Sheeran, it always messed with my head that this guy can just stand on stage with thousands of people, tu peke yake tu na kagita na pedal. So I ask myself, nini anafanya apart from the singing and the loop pedaling, and there's something extra he must be doing kwa background and yatuoni, Hizo ndo that I get interested in. And now here I am.
It's interesting that you mentioned it, because I saw a video once where he played an audio of him.
Ktown. And it was terrible. That I'm telling you, the same guy.
But he worked on it. And now everybody knows who Ed Sheeran is.
And even me, just recently stopped practicing, but there's something singers say that I don't like. They say, I don't like the sound of my voice. And I'm like, but how will you know how you sound to other people if you don't listen to yourself? So like when I teach voice, I tell them, record yourself, sing, record yourself. Then now you can hear, hapa si breathe vizuri, hapa si fungui mdomo vizuri, phrasing hapa ni mbaya. Like you start learning from yourself,
And the only way you can learn is through experience. If you do it.
If you do that,
if you take the action. So if I remember when I was in campus, I joined a band. Now in this band, the musicians were skilled, and the way I was looking at myself, I was like, I don't even have
Sitoshi Mboga.
Sina hiyo talent, sina nini, but nimejoin too. So we had a gig once, and man, we went on stage. Me everyone has the song they're supposed to introduce. Me nilienda to the next song. It was embarrassing. It was bad. Then you with the band members, mtu anakuambia, bana, imba. Mbona uimbi?
Kuna hiyo pia.
So for me, I guess it also goes back to how you've been brought up. True. Or what you've gone through in life, or there's something always that affects the decisions that you make.
True.
So me, the way I looked at it is, I'm not good enough.
And that is something that exists in the most talented singers and musicians. kwanza waimbaji unapata tu ni katroma kadogo, maybe alienda kwa kanisa MD mwenye. And this is what I tell my singers, by the way, even like in my band, I tell them, be careful with the people you choose to listen to when it comes to critique, because ask yourself, can this person sing as good as I can or better? If they cannot, why are you wasting your time listening to them? Like, they don't understand. Where does he relate? You know. So nawambianga usimdismiss, maybe kuna kitu anasema ina make sense, but pia usichukulie ni kama yeye ndo anafaa kuamua. Because kama mtu anacheza keyboard, because most MDs are keyboardists, mtu anacheza keyboard anakuambia hapana, wewe uimbi vizuri, mpe mic, okay, yeye vile unataka niimbe uone. Yeah, you have to really, because, and it's unfortunate, but human beings, we do that sometimes. We tear each other down and we don't understand the impact it has. You know, people remember such small things. And when I'm working with, like, for example, I'm working with a vocalist when I to move from intermediate to advanced level. Already yeye ni mnoma, already kufika kwa intermediate akwa sawa, but unashanga mbona uko confident, why you so shy, why you have a better voice than I do, me I'm your teacher but you sing better than I do. Don't find out, kuna mtu alikuambia kitu fulani, no, that thing stuck in your head, you know. Yeah, so and maybe to the people who think they're critics, I would advise them to, when you're critiquing someone, start with what is good. Answer now, you've done this well, you've done this well, you've done this well. Now, what you can change is this, and this.
You need to build people up.
Exactly. So that, and it's just good for everyone at the end of the day. Because if you're singing in a group especially, and you want your vocalist to sing better than they are singing, it would be wiser to approach it in a way that itamuongezea value, sio kumonyesha pale yako insufficient. You get? Yeah, but I'm sorry for that.
See, hindsight is 2020. When you can look back, you see where you made mistakes. So I came to learn later that you can handle situations differently. If something like that happens, you can look at it two ways. You can say, okay, fine, maybe it's true, naimba vibaya, but I can grow. I can work on it. Or you can give up. Give up and say, that's how I gave up on performance.
You know, that's it's actually it's a thing. It's a thing. Yeah.
So you can work on it. It's a journey, like you said.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So I like how you talk about your students and your band members and building them up.
Yeah.
Maybe you can tell us more about that. Like, how do you feel you're bringing others up through the talent that God has given you?
Well, it's okay. When it started, it was a very basic thought. When I started my journey, it was very challenging. Yeah, because, like I said, there are not people who are trying to help you willingly. Bila kuitisha kitu in return, ama bila we kufeel kama una waste your time, you know. And I was like, that's unfortunate, because I try to imagine how much farther I would be kama kuna msetu wangu nishika mkono niambie ni aje, bila kunigonga, bila kunifanyisha magigs exposure, because pia wako angeniambia ni aje, hiki tuko nayo iko fiti, sasa try, because I listened to my clips when I was singing when I was younger. I nearly discovered juicy, and I was like, I wish someone had told me I need to do this and this and this. Na nilikuwa na feel niko sawa, you know. Yeah, so I told myself that I would want to start something that would make that journey shorter for people who are gifted and talented and passionate about their music. And that's how Kalista Band started, because my first mate, the first person I recruited, his name is Dave, my guitarist, my lead guitarist. He was as hungry, when I met him, nilikumbuka how hungry I was when I was starting up, and how due to lack of a better word, desperate I was to just express myself, you know. He used to, I hope hata mind kimstaki kidogo, but he used to, because he loved the guitar, he used to carry a whole mixer, because he didn't have a guitar pedal. Abebana mixer, ndio aweke effects, ndio aweke reverb, ndio aweke Uncle Dave. Watu wanamuonanga sasa wanasema, hey, we have make it, like hizo ndo stories zake. And ukiona msika huyo uko like no. So it's very easy now for me, it's easy for me to see that and invest in that person, because I'm like, hiyo njaa ndio kitu inanifanya nijue huyu simse atapotea along the way, ama simse atakuwa na kiburi alafu you know. Yeah, so I would say that's where it stemmed from. And then now the more I've been doing that, because with every band member that is on my team currently, I know there's a place that they were and there's a place that they currently are. And it's that hunger, that, because I relate with it so much. I know how it feels to want to sing but you know you don't have a voice. Everyone has told you, we mwenyewe unajua, you know. So inanifanyanga ni, I just want to invest in them and make them grow. And I feel like that's how Callista has grown, because I could have money and I feel like so and so needs a new instrument. It's very easy for me to buy them that instrument than spend that money to buy or other things with it. You get, yeah. And my hope is that people, especially now investors, because I understand that, and I tell this to a lot of people who I talk to, no one is investing in music as much as they could be, and it's because they don't see it as a business. And usually when I'm talking to potential investors and I show them the figures, they're like, this is how much you make in a year, or in a week, or in a month. Wow, that's like, yeah, okay. Then I tell them, now imagine if you come on board as a partner or as an investor, and they're like, and it shows me how, before me na yetu kwenye conversation, hakuwahi ona hivyo. You get, and I feel like that's something that needs to change.
Okay. So I love that, because you're going beyond yourself. You're building others, and I think that's the best thing you can do here on earth.
True, because we all have a limited time to live, yani. So the best thing you could do is leave a legacy, leave something that, because I tell them as well, I tell them, my band, Callista Band, is not your destiny. I would be so happy if you would go further than this, you know. And I set the bar high, so that in case utapata opportunity enye ni beyond Callista, ikue better, isikue as good na isikue less tafadhali. Ikue better, uende ukienda.
You want to see the best for them.
Please, and you succeeding, that's my joy. And I feel like that's the young me, the high school me who, when I was training those vocalists and those instrumentalists who couldn't read the music and kuona on stage, au kipigiwa nduru na today, mimi nilikuwa tu zile za yes, ameshinda number 1. Exactly, you know.
It's amazing how God brings everything full circle.
I know.
You don't see it then,
that
you come to see it later. And because we're talking about the pivot points in our lives, like what made things change or turn around for you, I want us to go a bit to, there's a time you were performing and making music in Nairobi, and then you shifted and came back to Eldoret. What made you make that change?
Okay. So now, when I went to Nairobi, because I even wrote a song about it, it's called Koinangi. I sat down with my parents and I told them, I feel like I don't have a future here in Eldoret because the market is quite young. Back then the market was very young. No one was in, at least I kuna watu wawili watatu. Back then no one was investing in music at all. So I told them, hey, Appa, I don't feel like I will succeed. And they're like, why don't you do what you can, like teach? And I was like, that's cool, I can, and I can make good money from it, but it's not what will make me happy. I want to study even performance, and the only way I can even study is by doing it, by performing. And I was talking from an informed perspective, because I'd walked around with my guitar. My guitar ilikuwa kasi CV yangu. Unaona vile ukimaliza shule kuna documents zako kwa bahasha. Tembea kwa ofisi, hi, this is can I leave this here? That's now me. Naingia kwa hoteli, I'm like, hey, can I play something for you? I'm a musician. No one, hakuna mtu alikuwa invest. So I was like, okay, so let me try my luck in Nairobi, because at least Nairobi back then ilikuwa people were investing in music. So I told my parents I want to go, and they were like, don't go, because now you will fail ile ukweli. Ile hata wewe mwenyewe utaona hapa hakuna future. And I was like, okay, so let me at least do it. So I nikatafuta fare, because they were very much against it. I nikataka kulipia fare. Looked for fare, went to Nairobi, slept on couches, slept on relatives' houses, you know, and I started life there. I started doing shows, and I saw the progress. It was very good. Like, And my beginnings in Nairobi were very humble, because I remember my the first house I got in Nairobi, when I was moving, it was raining and it was just a mess, and I had to sleep on wet mattress, didn't have beddings, jifunike na manguo, yani ndio nilale, you know. Yeah, but hiyo ilikuwa rock bottom sasa, you know. And from there I was like, since now this is the lowest of the lowest of the low, I can only move up from here.
There's only one way.
Exactly. So now we started doing events, nini. But then I didn't have a regular gig, you know, because that was always my problem. How do I get consistent income? So I was only doing shows and I was teaching. So finally I got a regular gig, a venue called Sax and Violins. Oh, I was so excited. Waterfront. I was so excited. A week before, because now the COVID hit, so a week before I was supposed to start, they shut, lockdown. So venues were not, kaeni nyumbani, mjifungie na ma-shopping kidogo mmefanya. So I was like, wow. So what ilinisaidia ni, I had already started an online teaching thing, so I was teaching online, then making that money, nalipa rent. So we did that, hadi pia lockdown ikakuwa lifted, then now we started. And I say this, please, kama ulikuja hiyo show, usiogope, si mko alive, but I think I played a show with COVID.
You had
yeah,
COVID?
I think I had COVID,
oh
because I remember how I was feeling. Nilikuwa nasema symptoms ziko. I remember I played that show with very bad infection, and, but yeah, I think that was my second last show. Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure. I don't remember very well. But yeah, we started now again from zero. Because and then Nairobi having a band is so hard, because unapata mtu anaishi Roysambu, mwingine anaishi Kitengela, mwingine anaishi yani unaona hata commit for practice peke yake is very tricky. Yeah, so but I was just trying. I was always trying. Yeah, then now my mom got sick. Yeah, my mom got sick. She had COVID as well, and I had to come back to Eldoret, and then she passed. And then thank you. She passed, and then now my life sort of just, because now in my head, because I remember the feeling, I didn't have purpose. Yeah, I lacked purpose. I nilikuwa kwa shimo sasa from that point, because my mom was my best friend, and alikuwa ananimotivate sana, you know. Despite her not really wanting the path I'd chosen, she never allowed me to give up. So when she passed, it was very dark. And I remember one of my cousins, she's now the one who took me from that place, akanipeleka Kisumu. Kushimia, I used to teach, akanipeleka Kisumu, getting me gigs za kufunza, nini. Then I slowly started coming up. Then the team I had then did something. Walinichuja kwa band. Yeah, so and I understand, because maybe hawakuelewa what I was going through at the time, you know. But walinichuja kwa band, so now again karudi hapo, but now at least I was a bit stronger. Yeah. So I started afresh, and now that's how Kalista came into being. And I just started slowly, second-hand instruments, you know, trainable musicians, pole, one venue which was not paying very well, you know, pole, then now it became a thing. People started knowing us, and we got more venues, and we asked for more money, and the venues ilikubali because they're seeing the value we're adding to their venues. And yeah, here we are. Yeah.
Now it's the most sought after band in Eldoret.
Most sought after band in Eldoret. It's unbelievable. But yeah, it was not an easy. Again, life is just a journey. You never. It's easy to go into life with expectations. Like, you can make the biggest plans for yourself, right? But I usually say, even when we are praying with the band, because we pray after practice, I usually tell them, and we usually pray, and we say that in as much as we all have our paths, the paths we want to take, we can only pray that God aligns our path with his path, because at the end of the day his path is best. Tunaweza jifanya tunajua kila kitu, but utakam to realize Kenya God amekupangia is what you should have probably seen.
It's way better.
It's way better, you know. Yeah, that's the journey.
Wow. It's interesting that you talk about that, because you can have that faith, that belief, and you go for what you want, but at the same time God also has the plans that he has for you, and being able to align yourself with his will, really you go like 10, 20 times faster. You get there 20 times faster. Like the Israelites, walizunguka 40 years. A journey that should have taken like what? They said it should have taken like 10 days or something like that.
If they
but it took them 40 years to go around. So at the end of the day, his plan is supreme. But the beauty of it, or the wonderful thing about God is, even when you take your own way, he'll still bring everything. He
still got you.
Yes, he'll still watch everything.
And that's such moments when you realize that and don't appreciate free will, because you know sometimes you pray angekufanya tu robot, yani isikuwa you have to work so hard to understand his will. You get. And I would say like the darkest moment for me was my mom passed, because I remember very vividly how angry I was with God. Yeah, I was very, very, very angry. I was like, hata kama ni mili yako, hizi ni gani? Like, unataka kunisha what here, you know? And yeah, he spoke to me, because you know there are moments where you like hear God's voice, and that's one of those moments. And najua mnatafutanga, misi. Trust me, you'll hear him when you need to hear him. And I remember that moment he helped me understand. He just, because so what happened was I asked him to help me understand why my mom has passed, because I knew that I've seen how hard she's worked throughout her life to provide for us and get us to where we are. And nilikuwa nataka kumrudishia mkono, hata kama ni kumnunulia gari ama just kidogo tu yani. You know, and I remember in that moment he asked me, so me resurrecting your mom, because it's possible, it's happened in the Bible so many times, would it be for her or would it be for you? Because also understand that the peace that she now is experiencing in heaven, there's nothing that can compare. Like akiamka sahi, unajua ma struggles that are rudi to. What do you want for her? Then I was like, this is, so I'm being selfish. I just want this for me. Then I understood. Kuna vile tu nili, with that one moment, ya mimi na yeye nilielewa vitu mob at once. I was like, okay, I get it. Your will is... so the most tragic things could happen, and those are the moments that you question God. You're like, apana. God is not real. How can he allow this to happen, you know? But then when you really, really, really think about it, or when you really seek him out, because in as much as I was angry, I sought him out. I did not sit with that anger. Nilimtafuta nikampeleke hiyo hasira yote. And that's the beauty about God. Atakuchukua vile uko. Ukiwa umejidharau, umemdharau, umekasirika, you're happy, at the end of the day just go back to him. Then atakupanga from hapo. Yeah.
Nimelan kitu
leo.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the Naliaka EP.
Yeah, so the Naliaka EP, I would say it's a collection of the best songs I've written. I don't think I'll ever write better than Naliaka EP. Kama wewe ni fan wangu pole. I'll try. But and it's because most of the songs there, I'd written them in very vulnerable moments. I usually tell songwriters, you don't have to record and release all the songs you write, but write songs. Yeah, the writing helps you express yourself in a idea of kutoke, you know. And like there are two songs. One is called Smile. One is called I'm Fine. Those are the songs I wrote when I was really depressed. My mom was still around, but I was really depressed because music ain't going to make sense at that time, you know. And they were pushing me to quit. They were pushing me to, hey, just give up and just come home. And we're here for you, blah blah. But I was like, I have to ngangana with this, you know. And so I recorded niliandika hizo songs. When she passed, I was like, okay, I just want to, because she was my best friend. Because in those moments, she was there. She was always there. And so nilikuwa na feel ni kama this collection iko na her presence. Her presence is somewhere there. You get? Yeah, so I just compiled the songs because they're not even themed, because you know a good body of work iko na ka theme. They're not all the songs are about Naliaka, but there are songs that are about her, like the song called Naliaka. It's just about my mom, and I remember when I wrote that song, I asked my dad, ulikatiaje mom? Aliingiaje boxi yako? I want to understand. And that was very shaky. Nikasema labda ni lugha. So I sat down nikaandika a song just now from his perspective, you know, because my mom was a gem, and people say, you know, when you're a boy, especially when you're milk or mama's boy, ukiwa mama's boy, the expectation of the person even utaita wife ni your mom and above. You get? And so I wrote from his perspective, like this beautiful woman, ulimkatiaje. Then now I played it to them, and they were like, wow, it's a nice song. It's a nice song. Then now every guest akikuja wako, hey, imba ile Analiaka, imba ile, you know, yeah. So I just compiled those really good songs that I'd written. Each song I wrote at a different moment in my life. Like Wasili, people love that song so much, and I know they love it because it's one of my few hopeful songs. Because I write expressive music, yeah. And me huandika nikiwa mostly sad or angry, or you know, I've never really written a happy song. But when I wrote Wasili, again, funny story, you know Wasili Cabs?
Yes.
The person who prompted me to write that song alikuwa sort of part of the marketing team of Wasili. Alikuwa like, you should write a song for this company. They might invest in it. I was like, okay, so I just wrote the first verse, presented it to them, but they were not ready to invest in the recording, the video. I was like, okay, I'll keep it, you know. And when you listen to that song, you realize the first verse and the second verse is basically the same thing. Ni vile moja ni Kiswahili, moja ni English, because I was too lazy to write another verse, you know. And yeah, it turned out to be, because now when I played it with the band, I arranged, it just took shape. Koinange is the song I wrote before I left for Nairobi, you know, because my parents instilled so much fear in me, and I was like, let me be brave enough to just go. Let me experience all those things you're saying I'll experience by myself, you know. Which other song? Do I remember another song was in that? Bwana Radio. It's my Bwana Radio is just so. I remember I wrote Bwana Radio because of the tabia mbaya Waluya ku air their dirty laundry on air, on radio, very publicly. Unapigia tu radio unawaambia bwana yangu amenipiga, sijui bibi yangu amelala na jirani, yani then you discuss it there on the radio. You don't even solve the problem by the time the show inaisha, because pia wana run on time. You've not solved the problem. So I was like, that's very interesting to me. And I wrote the first verse, and then now I had exhausted everything I wanted to say on the first verse about the Luya culture and how, you know, I just want to tell this radio guy that I've seen a beautiful woman. Then on the second verse, it became, I wanted to develop it into a story. Problems zikatokea, tukakoseana, akaniwacha. Then now bridge. It like all the songs I wrote on that, they took time. I didn't like sit and they just ziliji. Weird example, but nikaniliziza alafu zikamea tu zenyewe, zika experience life yao wenyewe nini, then they took shape. But Bwana Radio is special because I remember I was playing a gig in Nakuru when I was in 4th year, because now I started performing. There were no opportunities in Eldoret, so I used to commute from Eldoret to Nakuru, play one gig, then come back. Next day niko class, ilikuwa gig ya Sunday. And I was playing that song to a very empty space, except for one table that had a German gentleman and his brother-in-law. And they heard the song and they were like, that's a really good song. And this gentleman, his name is Matan, he invested in that project. He paid for the studio, he paid for the video, And I was like, it just blew my mind that I can write a song and mtu ana so that's why Bwana Radio is on there. Like all the songs that are on the Naliaka EP are special songs to me, very special songs to me.
What would you say? Like, how have you grown over your journey, and what does it take for someone to grow?
That's a good question. It's a good question because growth is not, you don't see growth as it happens, you see it after time passes. Then you look back and you're like, hey, nime grow. Get. And I would say, and again, I don't know how cliche this sounds, but I'll just say it anyway. You need to ground yourself, preferably in God, because I'm not saint. I have done met a song juicy called Saint Jonny, because now it got to a point where everyone was looking at me like I am a good person. And I remember even that song, the inspiration came from the Bible when what's his name? I forgot his name. The rich gentleman approached Christ, and the first thing he said was, "Good teacher."
Nicodemus.
Yeah, the one who was asking about how do I get to heaven. And Christ told him, only God is good, right? And your scripture ilibaki na mimi when I was writing that song, because everyone expects me to always be Mr. Right, Mr. This guy doesn't make mistakes, but I do, very flawed, you know. And I've grown so much because I embrace that. I embrace my humanity, and I repent when I need to repent. I own up, I own my mistakes. I am accountable when I have to be accountable. I try to be very honest. And yeah, I think just grounding yourself, I would say ground yourself in God, because I don't know, I feel like the Bible is the manual to life, and it's so underrated. Yani, there's so much wisdom in that book. People don't even, like, we just see it from a surface level, because the Bible is meant for you to study, not for your pastor or your preacher to interpret then spoon feed you. It's for you to sit with and hold to account your life, like reflect your life kwa Bible. Acha Biblia ikuwe kioo. Sema hapa alifanya hivi, hapa alifanya hivi. Now teach yourself from there. And ukienda kanisa, acha ikuwe fellowship, share the wisdom you've learned. Ndio pia kama ulikuwa umeenda left sana, waambie umeenda sana, overthink ni hivi, and then you get. Yeah, so I feel like ground yourself with the Bible, ground yourself with God, because, and it doesn't mean that you now be a saint. It doesn't mean you be holier than, because now that's self-righteousness, and that's a thing. And you know, I wrote that song Pia partially because I had started becoming self-righteous. I had started seeing myself as the person that people are seeing me to be. Then I realized that's wongo. Missio, I'm not that good. It's missy mbaya, but missy mzuri vile mnadhani. You get. Yeah, so just ground yourself with if you want to grow, and the growth might not be visible to either you or to the people looking at you, but one, it'll be effortless, and two, it'll be there. Because I remember one of the things I learned about being born again when I was just fresh into it, and nikiingia high school, is the effortless change when you align yourself with Christ, when you align yourself with God. You will vitu ulikuwa unafikiria hautakuwa unafikiria the same, because I told you I was a wicked child, but hizo tabia zilinitoka very easy. Ilikuwa rahisi, haikuwa ati I'm struggling. I was just like, okay, read the words, learn about Christ, learn about God. Then the more you learn, the more hizo vitu zinakutoka tu zenyewe. Hata wewe ujui, like mtu akikuuliza what did you do, hata wewe uelewi, unamwambia tu I thought I don't know. Because now, like me, that self-righteousness is no longer a thing. Like I no longer look at myself as righteous, you know, because now it started becoming a hypocrite. You know, I do things for people in the name of being good, but it's inanifanya nianze kuwa resent chini ya maji. You get?
I'm doing all this for you.
Now, exactly. Yeah.
It's I'm sure you've seen this video. It's on Instagram, it's on TikTok, where you have a glass with dirty water, and the more you pour clean water into it, the more the dirt comes out and it just becomes clean.
Clean,
I think that's the same way with God.
Same thing.
The more you're closer to Him, He's just good.
Yeah.
The more He pours into you, the more hizi zingine
zinatoka tu. And now that the faith element of it is, you might not see uchafu ikitoka, ama you might not, because our human minds, we really try so hard to put logic behind God mpaka we lose out on a lot of things. So we kwa akili yako unaweza sema by this time nafaa kuwa nimeacha kufanya hii tabia mbaya nafanyanga, but hiyo haifai kuwa yako worry about. You just know that you will change and just continue doing what God tells you to do. Just obey. Then utajipata tu uko pale unatakuwa.
Nice. So, what would you tell somebody who wants to change?
Be patient with yourself. Be very patient. And patience is, I remember when I was trying to understand the word patience, and that's how I studied the Bible. Just one word, your word moja, patience. And I'm looking at all the scriptures that talk about patience. I came to learn that patience is not just sitting. You're sunny laziness. Tu nangoja kuchange. There's something you're always doing in patience. And the number one thing I would advise you to do in patience is just have that faith. Just have ushapewa formula. Ni hii ndo formula. Just fanya tu your formula. Hata kama uoni change, keep on having that. Fanya tu your formula. Then one day, by the time you're realizing you've changed, you won't know you've changed. Like, you get, because you're so stuck up on just the formula. The formula. If your formula is waking up in the morning and praying and taking time to study the word between the day, and because I have those two rituals. Like I try and pray before performances, because I also know by the way I'm in the secular space, right? I play in clubs and restaurants and lounges, and I know, because I understood early how that can get to me, how that can affect me, and so you can develop your ritual. Say a small prayer before the gig. Remind yourself who this glory that will come to you belongs to, because it's not yours. It's not yours. And I try to advise my team to do the same, because with this line of work it's very easy to be proud. Rahisi sana kuamka tu siku moja kusema hey ni mimi. That is demo wawili wamekupigia nduru sana, bas hakuna mtu anaweza niambia kitu. I'm the most talented person in the world, it happens like this, and you will not even realize it. It's very easy to be caught up in the lifestyle, to start drinking, to start smoking, to start, and well, I'm not judging if anyone does those kinds of things. Si ati ni mbaya, but I believe just knowing God helps you know life. Inakusaidia tu. You'll just know what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do. So if you want to change, just again, same thing I'd say, just jeke tu na God. Yani kazana tu. Wacha effort yako mingi iweke hapo. Usikieke kwa busy vitu zingine za dunia za naonanga kusikiza motivational sijui nini. Ni poa, like zi work, but ubani sio permanent solutions. They're not permanent fixes. And I usually even tell people, now when I was getting rid of that self-righteousness, I started telling people, because I created this persona, you can always depend on me. Anything you go through, I'm your guy. I'll always figure it out for you. But then I realized that's so false, because one, I'll not live forever. Two, I don't always have the time. Maybe I'm doing something, maybe I'm in the middle of something, and you really need me to be there for you. I cannot. So like wisdom is, let me direct this person to my source, which is God, because he is always there for you. Literally, it's just I go to like, when you need me, I'm coming through. Just ask. Call shall be answered. Knock shall be open. I'm there. You get? So I changed my mind, Evo, and I feel like even the relationships that I currently have, when you think about it like that, because man, it's so easy to be codependent in an unhealthy way. Like unategemea mtu na mtu anakutegemea in a very unhealthy way, not understanding that these people are just people as well. And by the way, if I can just shout out the gentleman called Jonathan McReynolds, was an album called People. And that song called People is a very powerful song because when it starts, it outlines various aspects of people that are not very nice, you know, and you might think that that song is about me as the person singing the song judging people. But then he says this one line at the end of the song. He says, forgive me, like forgive me when I become one of those people I've just been talking about, you know, those people who judge, those people who, and I say, forgive me God if I start becoming like those people, which now shows you that he's acknowledging his humanity. You get, and I feel like that's something you need to do, but of course do it, acknowledge humanity by kujiexcuse au ufanye tabia mbaya because I'm human, wacha nifanye tabia mbaya. You acknowledge zile za God is the person who will change me. God is my source. God is, I cannot depend on myself. Yeah.
Okay. So I think we're coming to the end.
I've enjoyed it so much.
Yeah.
I talk too much, by the way. I've tried to change.
I prefer that.
Nilijiambia leo naongea kidogo lakini conversation imebamba.
Thank you for coming. And I can just see like on your journey, you're coming into finding who you are and finding yourself. And it takes time. I think that's what most people don't see or understand, especially when you're younger. You don't realize that it takes time to find yourself. So for anyone who is watching, you can see the story of Jonny and how he has come into who he is. Even for you, you will find who you are. But what I'm taking away is something that I've been learning also. Motivation will not get you far. Action.
Make you feel like moment.
Action will. If you do it, just do it. Keep doing it. Doing it. You don't know where you'll end up, but you will grow. So thank you for coming. May God bless you in your journey.
Amen.
I look forward to more music, more good things. You don't know what's coming next. So
I'm just
You're
doing.
just doing. Just do it. I wish you the best and God bless you. Thanks for watching this episode. Please, you can comment down there, subscribe, share with a friend, and we'll meet next time.
Mama, nimekuwa nikikutazama kwa muda na ningependa kukuomba kama ungeweza nipa madakika kadhaa, unanizingua ninachizi na hiyo siyo siri, kuelewa mbona nahisi hivi kila time mama sielewi, and I can't get you off my mind. Naliaka kweli umeumbika, naliaka ni wewe tunataka, naliaka wewe ni baraka malaika, naliaka Baby, kipofu wa mapenzi kwani sioni maisha bila wewe, mwizi wa roho yangu. Baby, ninakuthamini, ninakuenzi mama, ninachizi na hiyo siyo siri, kuelewa mbona nahisi hivi kila time mama sielewi, and I can't get you off my mind. Naliaka kweli umeumbika, naliaka wewe tunataka, naliaka wewe ni malaika naliaka, yeah. Weni msupa kuruka, nikipita nawe tu ofisi tunashtuka. Uko ligi flani enye huwezi kushuka, kukupata ilibidi tu nimerauka na level 10 ndipo unapo reside. No wonder all day we huniwacha cloud 9. Number 8 iliborofiga kwako wildlife, bado hijafika though umbali wa 7 times. 6 figure worth ya mahari, 5 star mama tena bila swali. 4 high yes niko ready ku provide 3 meals every day till the day I die. To me ako fabricated na wife material, haogopi chia ni boss lady period. At the same time ni definition of fun, doesn't take a genius to see. Naliaka kweli umeumbika, naliaka ni wewe tunataka, naliaka wewe ni baraka malaika, naliaka naliaka kweli umeumbika, naliaka wewe tunataka, naliaka wewe ni baraka malaika, naliaka.